everybody, and welcome back to the DeVlog. And today we will be going over the pre-alpha version 0.9.1. Now, I want to go over a few things before we start. The first being the delay of the Alpha 1, and the second being the delay of this devlog. The second one is easier, so I can explain that. The second one is, well, I just didn't get around to it because I was trying to finish working on the Alpha 1, but that ended up getting delayed anyways. And the first one is, well, I severely underestimated the speed at which it takes to make a level. So I thought I could in the last week I could make 7 levels, so 1 level per day. Turns out it takes more than 1 day to make a level. Sure, I can design a level in like 1 day, but I testing it and making sure it plays the way I want it. It takes a lot longer, so I had to delay it. I will go over the delay later. So, we'll move on to what I've been working on since the last pre-alpha. Since last devlog. So obviously, the last devlog was, I believe, version 6.8 was the version that we had, and now we're obviously in version 9.1. So we've made a lot of progress. I at least I believe. I'll go over the minor changes that I've done, or the minor additions that I've made. First of all, speed changes. At the time of the last devlog, I had the old speed, which was around 4,000 centimeters per second, or 43 meters per second. I decided to change that to around 7,000, I believe it is now, nearly doubling the speed at which the player moves, because I realized that the speed was just not fast enough. I want this game to be very fast paced, so I increased it by around 3,000 centimeters per second. Next, jump changes. To compensate for the increased speed, I wanted the jump to be affected by gravity a lot more, because I noticed that the player was floating for a really long time. So I increased the gravity from 3 times to, I believe it's 5 times the gravity now, which should be good. To compensate, I also increased the jump velocity, so it should. It's a very minute change. It's a very people would scarcely tell the difference. The next change is the wall jump running. I, for the most part, fixed the wall running bug. It was actually a very, very simple fix. I didn't realize that there was a timer going on during the wall run that would delay the point at which the wall run would end. So I just changed that to like 0.25 seconds. The timer still needs to be there, because of the fact that there needs to be a wall run timer between when you can wall run next. But I decided to change that so that it's much slower, or much quicker, I mean, so that you're not just wall running in midair for no reason. I have yet to figure out a fix for the slide mechanic, so I'm just gonna leave that for later until I can think of something. Up onto the stuff that I've actually done a lot of work on, and that is the tutorial level. The tutorial level is completely finished. The only thing that really needs to be added is, I think, honestly, there's just a few changes that I want to make to the here and there to make it look nicer, but that's more for later down the line. The tutorial level, it works, and when you play through it, it'll be very simple. There aren't many game mechanics so far in the game. The next is the training level. So right once you get into right after the tutorial level, you'll be brought into a training level where you can apply the skills that you've learned. The training level is pretty much is pretty much complete now. I might change a few things here and there. I'm still iffy on the moving platforms idea. A lot of the part of the things that I had to do with the training level is I had to get the saving system done. So the level saving is completely set up. I did a ton of testing on this. Like there was so much testing I had to do because there was bugs where there was a bug where you if you took longer to complete a level, it would overwrite your shorter time, and I didn't want that to happen. So it took a while to fix that bug, and I think I got it down. Uh, Now for obviously the level select is also done, so that's good. It was a lot of tedious programming for that. Not it wasn't complicated. It was just multiple. It was just a very boring code that I had to do over and over again. Death system was pretty easy to do. It really wasn't that big of a deal. Once I implemented the save system, it got a little complicated, but I managed to get it sorted out. UI and menu systems. I already had these in the game, but with a lot of the new mechanics, I've added a few more things to the menus themselves. Level 1. So I designed most of what I want for the first level. I'm still debating on whether the difficulty is too hard, and I'm also planning on adding a slower uh, route that the player can take that will be that won't include like stars, you know. But yeah, so going into future development plans, these have obviously changed as things usually do. My immediate priorities is bug fixing level saving system, which as you guys as I just said before, I already did that, so that one's already crossed off. The setting up the level intro sequence. Now, this right here going to be is going to be something I'm going to be dedicating a lot of time to, because right now the way you intro into a level is kind of just a wall that goes down and then it showcases the level, and it's fine for what I'm working with right now. But when the game eventually releases, I want there to be a cool intro sequence to each level where you uh that's a lot more appealing. So I'm going to design one. It's not going to have the animation yet. That's going to be for later, but it will eventually be added. Next would be the collectible system. That's something that I had to push back, unfortunately. And then obviously collectible saving. So saving the collectibles you have gotten. The level select tweaking, that's something that I'm going to be working on while I'm designing the levels themselves. And then foot IK control. This is basically right now, if you were to be on like an angled surface, it doesn't, your feet sort of just float in the air, and it doesn't acknowledge that you're on an angled surface. I'm going to eventually add foot IK control. I've done it before and it's not too difficult, but that's basically where your feet can detect on if you are on an angled surface. And that's more or less what it is. And then obviously finishing the first 7 levels of the game. Uh, this is going to be a that's going to be pretty difficult. I have a good idea of what I want for like the first 3. However, the next 4 is going to be I don't know what I have planned for it. I'm probably going to brainstorm some things with my friends and see if they can come up with some ideas. And I'm also going to try and play some other games similar to this to my game to see if I can find some good ideas. But other than that, that is the current development priorities. Now I will go over when the Alpha 1 closed playtest is going to be. I had to delay it to May 14th. I haven't changed much about it other than that I instead of doing 24 levels, it's just going to be the first 7 because I was absolutely insane, or 25 levels, my bad. And then I also decided to update my for that I decided to update my Alpha 2 plans. So I want to obviously flesh out these first 7 campaign levels. So basically after the Alpha 1 test, I'm going to make sure I'm going to go through all I'm going to go through all of the levels to fix any mistakes that I've made and any changes that are critical. And then making sure that the level saving system is finalized is going to be crucial. Even though I say it's finalized, I know I'm going to find a bug later down the line. And then basic multiplayer integration, I delayed that to the second Alpha 2 because a lot of the features that I have right now, I want to flesh out and make sure that they are the best they can be. And then player stats system is still on there, but I'm not really focused on that. That's for much later, and it's not going to be that integral. And then there is, and then the Alpha 2. This is not set in stone, but I'm planning on having the Alpha 2 closed test be for May 31st. This is again another closed test. It'll hopefully be bigger, and I'll be expanding it to a lot of friends of friends and people who that I know personally. So it'll be a bit more fleshed out. So hopefully it'll give me more data. And then obviously the long term plan is for the beta 0.5. I don't know why I have it set to May 31st on my sheet here, but it's not for May 31st. It's going to be probably for June 30th, probably, if I do things right. If it's probably not going to be June 30th. If at the rate that I'm going right now, the Alpha 3 test is going to be on June 14th or 15th, and then the Alpha 4 test is going to be on June 30th, and the beta 0.5 is probably going to be sometime in July 31st, which is not ideal. It's not what I wanted to do because I had I wanted to get this game done sooner, but it's still on track to be a pretty quick project, all things considered. I'll I'll make sure to be more consistent with devlogs, hopefully. But I do have other video projects that I want to do, so not just this stuff. But I want to do other things. I'm hopefully gonna do some game reviews. I have video games I'd like to make video reviews about. But yeah, this will basically conclude the devlog. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you again.